We ventured beneath the desert sands, into untouched tombs, cursed inscriptions, and cities long erased from the memory of man. But as we dug deeper into Egypt's buried secrets, one truth echoed louder with every discovery. The greatest mystery was never beneath the sand. It was standing right above it. The Great Pyramid of Giza. Majestic. Timeless. Incomprehensible. It doesn't whisper secrets like hidden tombs do. It declares them, silently, unblinking, through stone that has withstood war, weather, and centuries of speculation. For more than 4,500 years, it has towered above humanity's imagination, unchanged, unmoved, and unanswered. How could a civilization over 4 millennia ago build something so enormous, so mathematically perfect, with no cranes, no steel, and supposedly no advanced tools? Mainstream archaeologists say it was a tomb. But if that's all it was, why is it so much more than any other tomb ever built? In this series, we'll explore 5 theories that could shatter what we think we know, not just about ancient Egypt, but about the very foundation of human history. Some of these ideas challenge science. Others flirt with the impossible. But all of them ask the same, disturbing question. What if we've been looking at the pyramids the wrong way? Not as ruins of the past, but as warnings, or messages, for the future? Let us begin where it all starts. With the building itself, and the impossible way it came to be. 1. The Great Pyramid, impossible by design. Before we get lost in speculation, let's start with what we know. The Great Pyramid of Giza is composed of over 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons. Even by today's standards, moving and assembling that amount of material with such precision would require immense planning, machinery, and manpower. But this was built over 4,500 years ago, without steel, wheels, or cranes. So how was it done? The traditional theory is the ramp model, that a massive ramp, made of mud brick and stone, was built to haul the blocks up as the pyramid rose. But here's the problem. Constructing such a ramp would require more material than the pyramid itself. And no evidence of such a colossal structure has ever been found. Then there's the internal spiral ramp theory, ingenious, but lacking physical confirmation. Others suggest levers, counterweights, sledges on wet sand, or teams of tens of thousands of workers. But the deeper you look, the more the pyramid resists explanation. Its base is perfectly level, within less than an inch across 13 acres. Its sides align almost perfectly with the 4 cardinal directions, deviating by just 1/15 of a degree. The slope angle of 51.5 degrees creates a ratio that encodes pi, and the pyramid's height in relation to its base corresponds almost exactly to the golden ratio. Coincidence? Or design? The builders left no blueprints, no diagrams, not even records of the tools or teams involved. Not a single block bears the clear name of an architect. Just silence. And stone. Worse yet, there is no mummy inside. No carvings. No inscriptions on the interior walls. No treasures typically found in royal tombs. All we have is a massive stone structure with empty, precisely cut chambers and narrow shafts leading to the stars. So if it's not just a tomb, what was it? Some believe it was a monument to eternity, designed to last forever. Others think it was an instrument, built with mathematical knowledge far beyond what we credit to ancient civilizations. There's even a theory that the pyramid encodes the dimensions of Earth, its equator, poles, and curvature, all built into its proportions. But how could the ancient Egyptians have known the shape and size of the planet so precisely? Unless someone showed them? This is where our journey begins, not in wild speculation, but in confronting a cold, immovable fact. The pyramid was built, but we cannot truly explain how. And that, perhaps, is the greatest mystery of all. In our next episode, we'll go further, not just in structure, but in function. What if the Great Pyramid wasn't just a monument, but a machine? 2. Not a tomb, but a power plant? In the last episode, we stood before the Great Pyramid and stared at its impossibility. We measured its precision. We ran our hands across the stone, wondering how it came to be. But now, we ask a question far more dangerous. What if it wasn't built to hold a body, but to harness power? It's a theory that sits on the edge of the archaeological map, dismissed by many, but impossible to completely ignore. The idea is simple, yet staggering, that the Great Pyramid wasn't a tomb at all, but a machine. A structure capable of capturing, focusing, or even generating energy. Let's start with what the pyramid is made of. The core is built from limestone, but inside, the key chambers, the so-called King's Chamber and Grand Gallery, are made of pink granite, a stone known today to have piezoelectric properties. That means when it's subjected to pressure or vibration, it can generate a small electrical charge. And what lies directly beneath the pyramid? A natural underground aquifer. Flowing water. Vibrations. To proponents of the power plant theory, this isn't random geology. It's part of the design. They believe the pyramid was built atop this energy source to harness the movement of groundwater, which created vibrations that resonated through the granite and limestone, building an electromagnetic field. And what was on the outside of the pyramid? It was once covered in highly polished white Tura limestone, a material so smooth it reflected sunlight like a mirror, and also acts as an electrical insulator. Combined with the conductive granite and the energy of the earth itself, the structure starts to resemble something more than ceremonial stonework. Still skeptical? Let's look at the architecture. The King's Chamber isn't just a room. It's a carefully engineered space. The granite beams above it are stacked in a way that absorbs and disperses pressure. The chamber's dimensions correspond to harmonic frequencies, leading some to suggest it was built to resonate, like a tuning fork for the earth. Then there are the mysterious air shafts. 4 narrow tunnels exit the King's and Queen's chambers. They're too small for ventilation, and they point not to practical destinations, but to specific stars, like Sirius and Orion's belt. Some theorists believe these shafts could have been waveguides, channeling energy, sound, or even information. If this sounds like science fiction, it might be. But ask yourself this. Why would the builders of the most colossal structure in Egyptian history make no mention of its construction, leave no inscriptions, no wall art, no funerary texts, and not even place a confirmed body inside? Unless the pyramid wasn't made for the dead, but for something else. In 1998, a group of researchers attempted to simulate this theory. Using miniature models, they found that the pyramid's internal geometry could amplify electromagnetic energy, especially in the King's Chamber. Even mainstream physics journals have noted the pyramid's ability to concentrate radio waves in specific spots. Is that accidental? Or intentional? Now consider the mythology. Ancient Egyptian texts speak of the pharaoh ascending to the stars through the house of eternity. Was that just poetic language for a tomb? Or a literal description of transformation through energy? Some believe the pyramid was a spiritual machine, a device that prepared the pharaoh for ascension, physically or metaphysically. Others take it further. They propose that the pyramid powered the civilization, transmitting low-frequency energy across the Nile Valley. If true, that would mean ancient Egypt had a kind of wireless energy grid, one we've never been able to detect because we don't know what to look for. Of course, critics are quick to dismiss all this. There's no proof, they say. No blueprints. No wires. No residue. But maybe we're not asking the right questions. Maybe the pyramid wasn't meant to be opened, dismantled, or reverse engineered. Maybe it still works. Even in its ruined state, it stands. Stone upon stone, it waits. Silent, unshaken. And now we must ask ourselves, if the Great Pyramid could harness power, whether physical or spiritual, was it built by Egyptians alone? Or did someone show them how? Because in our next episode, we leave the earth behind. We follow the stones upward, beyond tombs and temples, into the stars themselves. 3. Star Maps in Stone, the Celestial Code. In the last episode, we stood inside the heart of the Great Pyramid and considered a theory both bold and unsettling, that it was not a tomb, but a machine, built not for death, but for energy. A structure powered by Earth's vibrations, insulated in white stone, possibly humming with a frequency we can no longer detect. But what if the pyramid wasn't just built in harmony with the Earth? What if it was built in communication with the stars? For centuries, scholars and skywatchers alike have noticed a strange coincidence, or perhaps, a very deliberate plan. The 3 pyramids of Giza mirror almost exactly the 3 stars of Orion's belt, Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintaka. The alignment is not perfect, but it's close enough that even modern astronomers admit it cannot be dismissed as chance. So the question becomes, why would the ancient Egyptians design their most sacred structures to reflect the stars? To answer that, we must step into their worldview. To the Egyptians, the sky was not just background, it was destiny. The Duat, their realm of the dead, wasn't below the earth, it was above, in the stars. The pharaoh wasn't simply buried to rest, he was transformed into a star, joining the eternal cycle of the gods. Orion, in particular, was sacred. It represented Osiris, god of the afterlife and rebirth. Beside Orion shone Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, linked to Isis, Osiris's wife and the goddess of magic, fertility, and resurrection. Every year, the rising of Sirius signaled the flooding of the Nile, the moment Egypt came back to life. Now look again at the Great Pyramid. Inside, 2 of its mysterious narrow shafts, cut through tons of solid stone, align not with the sun, or landmarks, but with Orion's belt and Sirius. This is not symbolic. It's architectural. A celestial alignment locked in limestone. Why go to such lengths to point a tunnel toward a star? Because, some believe, the pyramid was more than a tomb. It was a cosmic resurrection chamber. When a pharaoh died, he wasn't merely buried, he ascended. His soul, the Ka, would travel through these shafts, these stargates, guided by the alignment of the pyramid itself. The structure wasn't just pointing at the heavens, it was built as a map, a ladder from Earth to eternity. Even the layout of the pyramid complex supports this. The 3 Giza pyramids follow the same pattern as Orion's belt, not in perfect north-south alignment, but offset, just like the stars. The Nile River flows nearby, just as the Milky Way flows near Orion in the night sky. It's as if the builders were recreating the sky on Earth. Still, some ask, why go through so much effort? Because in ancient Egypt, death was not the end. It was a process, a transformation. The pyramid wasn't a coffin. It was a device of rebirth, calibrated to the cosmos, powered by myth and mathematics alike. And the obsession with Orion wasn't limited to the Giza pyramids. Temples across Egypt were aligned with solstices, equinoxes, and stellar risings. Abu Simbel lights up on the same 2 days every year. Dendra Temple has star charts carved in its ceilings. The ancient Egyptians were not just builders. They were celestial engineers. So, what does all this mean? It means the pyramids may have been part of something bigger. Not just a tomb or a machine, but a calendar, a beacon, or even a message carved in code, a message that required the stars to decode. A code we may still be trying to understand. In modern times, some researchers suggest that the pyramid's stellar alignments point to a date long before the accepted timeline of Egyptian history, perhaps as far back as 10,500 BC, when Orion's belt would have aligned even more perfectly. If true, it would mean that either the Egyptians had an advanced understanding of astronomy long before their time, or they inherited this knowledge from an earlier, lost civilization. Either way, the implications are profound. Because if the pyramids were not simply of earth, but of earth and sky, then who were the pyramids really built for? And more importantly, who helped design them? In our next episode, we step beyond the boundaries of Earth's history altogether. We'll look into the theory that ancient Egypt's most sacred monument may not have been inspired by gods, but by visitors from the stars. Because when the answers don't lie in the soil, we begin to look to the skies for alien architects, forbidden theories. In our last episode, we looked up, toward the heavens, and followed the clues carved into stone. The pyramids, we saw, were not just feats of engineering, but celestial instruments, aligned with Orion's belt, Sirius, and the great river of stars in the sky. Egypt, it seemed, had recreated the cosmos in stone. But that raises a disturbing question. If the pyramids were designed with such precision, mathematically, astronomically, even energetically, who could have designed them? The theory we explore now is not accepted by mainstream archaeology. It's ridiculed in academic circles. And yet, it won't go away. What if the pyramids weren't built by humans alone? This idea, called the ancient alien theory, suggests that an advanced non-human intelligence, perhaps extraterrestrial, visited Earth in the distant past and either guided or directly built some of the world's oldest megalithic structures. The Great Pyramid is often cited as the crown jewel of this hypothesis. Let's start with the core argument. The technology didn't exist. In 2500 BC, the Egyptians were supposedly using copper chisels, wooden sledges, and manpower. No wheels. No pulleys. No steel. No cranes. Yet they were able to lift and place blocks weighing up to 80 tons with flawless alignment, and with intolerances we struggle to match today. How? Proponents of the alien theory point to the precision of the pyramid's construction, its base level within less than an inch across more than 13 acres, its perfect cardinal orientation, and its encoding of mathematical constants like pi, the golden ratio, and even the speed of light. If you believe the latitude of the pyramid is not coincidental, then there's the sudden leap in technology. Before the pyramids, there's little evidence of Egypt possessing the tools or knowledge required to build on that scale. After the pyramids, that knowledge appears to vanish. No gradual improvement. No evolution of technique. Just one towering spike of brilliance, and silence. It's not just Egypt either. Across the globe, we see pyramids, in Mesoamerica, China, Indonesia, Sudan. Cultures separated by oceans and time, yet building the same shape, often aligned with the same stars. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe they were all drawing from the same source, a forgotten global blueprint, or a shared teacher. In ancient Egyptian mythology, the gods came from the sky. Ra, the sun god, sailed the heavens in a golden boat. Thoth, god of wisdom and writing, was often depicted with a strange head, part bird, part unknown creature. And Osiris? He descended from the stars, died, and rose again. Were these just myths, or distorted memories of something real? Ancient texts in other cultures tell similar stories. The Sumerians wrote about the Anunnaki, beings from the sky who gave humans knowledge. The Dogon tribe of Mali, with no telescopes, somehow knew the details of Sirius B, a star invisible to the naked eye. The Hopis speak of the sky people. The Mayans built pyramids aligned with Venus and tracked it with impossible precision. Could it be that in the distant past, humanity was visited, uplifted, or even engineered by beings from beyond? Critics say there's no physical proof, no spaceship parts, no alien tools, no direct evidence. But maybe that's the point. If an advanced civilization wanted to leave a message, or a monument, it would need to survive millennia. Not wires, not paper, but stone. And perhaps the Great Pyramid is the message. Consider this: the pyramid contains no inscriptions, no boasts, no clear human fingerprints. It simply stands, immune to time, inviting questions no one can answer. And isn't that exactly what an interstellar artifact would look like? A beacon, a puzzle, a silent enigma waiting for a civilization advanced enough to understand it. Still, it must be said, this theory is not about little green men or flying saucers. It's about something deeper, about the possibility that human history is far older, far stranger, and far more interconnected with the cosmos than we've ever been taught. Because whether it was gods, aliens, or something else entirely, the question remains: why build a monument that would outlast every empire, every religion, every language? And more importantly, what were they trying to tell us? In our final episode, we dive into the strangest theory of all: that the pyramid isn't a tomb, a temple, or a machine, but a code, a mathematical message left for the future. And that message might not just reveal where we came from, but where we're going. 5. The Pyramid Code, Message Across Time. We've journeyed through stone and shadow. We've questioned what the Great Pyramid was: a tomb, a power source, a celestial gate, perhaps even a monument to visitors from beyond. But what if we've misunderstood it entirely? What if the Great Pyramid of Giza isn't just a structure, but a message, a code left in stone, meant to survive long after language fades and civilizations fall? This is the theory that chills even the most rational minds. It begins with numbers. The pyramid's measurements are not random. Its base is 440 cubits per side, and its height is 280 cubits. Multiply the height by 2 pi, and you get a number that nearly equals the base perimeter. The pyramid is, in essence, a circle and a square fused into one form, a symbol of harmony between the earthly and the cosmic. Its dimensions encode pi, the golden ratio, and even, some believe, the speed of light, measured in meters per second, reflected in the geographic coordinates of the pyramid's location: 29.9792 degrees north. Coincidence? Or something deeper? The proportions of the pyramid also reflect the curvature of the Earth. Divide its base perimeter by its height, and you get an approximation of Earth's radius. It's as if the builders knew the planet's size, shape, and orientation with astonishing accuracy, thousands of years before we supposedly figured it out. But how? One explanation is that the pyramid wasn't meant for the people of its time, but for a future civilization, ours. Built to survive cataclysm, erosion, invasion, even forgetfulness, the pyramid would wait patiently. Until someone, someday, would know enough math, enough physics, to read its message. And perhaps that time is now. Supporters of this theory call the Great Pyramid a time capsule. Not a tomb, not a temple, but a geometric language, immune to translation, immune to cultural loss. A message written in eternal symbols, ratios, angles, alignments, that transcend borders, ideologies, and even species. Think about it. If you were trying to leave a message for intelligent life, not knowing who would find it, or when, how would you write it? Not in words. Not in images. but in mathematics, the only true universal language. Even the pyramid's orientation speaks. Its four sides face the cardinal directions, true north, south, east, and west, with nearly perfect precision. The ancient builders aligned it more accurately than we can today with GPS. And inside? Not treasures, but empty chambers. Carefully placed voids. Tunnels that lead nowhere, or perhaps lead to something yet undiscovered. In 2017, a mysterious space the size of a jet plane was found above the Grand Gallery using cosmic ray scanning. What lies inside? No one knows. Could it be the final key? Some believe the pyramid's purpose was never just symbolic or spiritual. It was functional, a machine, yes, but not for energy. A memory machine. One that encodes the history of Earth, the story of a civilization, or the blueprint of something far older. Others go further. They suggest the pyramid was built by survivors of a lost world, a forgotten civilization that once flourished before a cataclysm, and left behind a single warning, a monument of stone that would never crumble, never burn, never be erased. And still others believe the message is not a warning at all, but a gift. A lesson in how to build, how to live, how to align ourselves with the stars and with the earth. A message from the past, for the builders of the future. But here's the haunting part. We still haven't cracked the code. We've studied. We've measured. We've speculated. But the pyramid has not yet given up its final truth. Maybe it never will. Maybe it was built to awaken curiosity, to test our humility, to remind us how little we truly know. Or maybe it's waiting for us to look not with tools, but with vision. Because if the Great Pyramid is a message, then every block is a letter, every angle a word, every silence a warning. We began this series asking what the pyramid is. And now we ask, what is it still hiding? A machine? A message? A monument to gods, or to beings we no longer understand? Perhaps the pyramid is all of these, or none of them. Perhaps its greatest mystery is its power to keep us wondering. But one thing is certain. It was not built to be forgotten. It was built to outlast everything. And in that silence, carved in perfect stone, it waits.